if you're a Spartans fan. That Spawn starting to feel the aggression as the sub. He gets the opening first blood in towards top triple and then immediately looks to put pressure towards that back turret. Getting the kill on Neo makes it a little bit easier for him as well to find that position, but I like to see that from Dak being involved, being in the mix, and starting to shut down some of the players from Stallions.
Back and forth we go, as we had anticipated, and how I'm sure a lot more maps might end up playing out here for us. Down low to the A site. Trace gonna get a stun out. Doesn't get hit with one in return, but tries to go up, and no, he's not gonna make it. So Royal Spartans able to find 2, make it 3 kills, and just like that, it is down to Glowfrosty for a 1v4.
And that's the defense that you like to see. Opening first blood, and they just steamroll right into that elevator. No trophies makes it pretty hard for Trace to get away. I think he tried to get up the zip line, but didn't work out. So Royal Spartans for the first chance for a defensive round, and a chance to buff their lead out by 2, barring Glowfrosty, who hasn't found a kill yet in the game, somehow clutches this 1v3 in 40 seconds.
And having the AR here as well, knowing the bomb is down, gonna make it pretty tough. Has to take a difficult gunfight, and Royal Spartans will not give him anything whatsoever for free. They now grab themselves a couple rounds here for advantage.
I see it even on the cameras for the venue too. As soon as the round's over, you like to see that Crows. He is just conversating with the rest of his team, just making sure that the spirits are high, making sure that everybody is focused right now for the team. And Royal Spartans are getting locked right now for this game. And you look at these search and destroys, and with the performance for this Stallions roster just not looking great in this game mode, this is one of those must-win maps for the Royal Spartans.
Is it ever? Need a response, though, from the Stallions coming into round number 5 through the middle. Niam's going to be able to spot quite a bit of pressure.
B-site's open.
And it is open. There's a chance here to go for a quick plant, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
So much focus over towards A. A lot of focus at the top triple. Even the back turret, if Wiz does team so, it's open, but 5 in a row, he's going to play his life down onto the bomb, and this is a good spread over towards even top grandmas and helipad.
Team. Oh, he gets all the way through, and now that also isolates Wiz here on the site, but he's able to slip away for a second, looking for a peek over the top, doesn't know if he wants to chow or not, and well, Wiz running out of options. Not a whole lot you're going to be able to do. A beautiful retake coming through for the Stallions.
It just didn't seem like there was really any idea on how you wanted to play that retake. You had everybody in the positions, but you know, nobody was watching the sidewalk. You lose that first blood. There's no real change in the position. You know, Cruz really felt isolated towards that back helipad.
Yeah.
Some bad timing, misses the jump over the half wall, and that really breaks the whole chain, losing that first blood. And that's a great answer from Stallions to win a defensive round now. You really needed to win that one, and to do it in a retake at B, giving up the site 4-on-4, you do a fantastic job at just dissecting that. You don't lose a single member, and Niam back onto a 3 spree. He's 8-3 right now, having a hell of a game.
Yeah. It's like he might want some revenge here. Maybe. Just maybe. We'll see if he can keep it going. First blood, though, comes through for the Stallions, followed by a second. Trakes gets involved, and only one going to fall. So, massive advantage. Bomb's going to go down. Retake now for Royal Spartans in a 2v3.
It's going to be a quick one, too. Through big door. Both ARs just hoping that someone sells. And they're not going to.
Oh, Gunzy not going to be with Cruz, who's hoping for someone to overpeak. And the nade, as well as the team shot's going to come through. No problem whatsoever. Stallions, they answer back. They tie us up 3 apiece.
I think that that's just one of those sites that if you're retaking with both ARs, you don't have any player with a jackal in hand. It just seems impossible to retake unless somebody sells towards that top heady. You're hoping someone jumps up. You get the initial shots, and the headshot multiplier makes it a 2v2 immediately. But when you're not given that kill to break that setup, it is just so dang hard to get into that Protocol A site, a member down. And Stallions, hey, I mean, down 2 rounds, you climb back, you win a flawless defense, you get, 3 players left alive now on your offense. You've completely tied this game back up.
Shots up top. And again, looks like a B hit, so looking to try to make some adjustments from last time.
Hamza didn't see it. This is a free plant. The nade's going to give it away, but they're going to get it down. No, that's immediate reaction coming out from Stallions.
Yeah, the nades, they finally connect, so they are able to remove Wiz, not Dak. And that's also the bomb down here. You got great positioning, but you're going to have to retrieve the bomb, and it looks like it is going to be Dak that has to try to push forward for it.
Yeah, you just got to fight your way through this. And Dak's going to get the information, place his life. You need a kill. Gunsy now is going to try to get this bomb down, but you have to get a kill immediately.
A lot of desperation setting in. Gunsy looking for a battle on the side. Wanted to throw the nade, and, well, it's going to cost him. Doesn't just cost him, cost his teammate. And, again, a 1v4. Too much to ask. Flawless round coming through, and the retakes are just completely on point for the Stallions.
You obviously see for Stallions throughout their boot camp going into champs, search and destroy would be a focus point. And that's back-to-back flawless retakes at B. You get the first blood onto Wiz. Glowfrosty with the vet call that he might not have seen the cross, but as soon as those shots come out from Banana, you know that is going to be an immediate hit towards B. And Neom hits the nade of a lifetime. I think it landed onto more than one player for sure. And then getting Wiz down, putting that bomb in such a rough spot really sets up the Stallions there for a well-timed retake. Player advantage now with the lead on Protocol to hit towards A again.
3 rounds in a row, looking to make it 4. Both teams going to lose 1. 3v3 we go, and, well, looks like Royal Spartans finally able to come out of an early engagement with a man advantage.
And they shut the door at A immediately. That's going to force Stallions to pivot back towards their spawn. This is defensive now from Stallions. They don't want to push towards B right away. They want to see if they can enact a quick rotation from the Spartans to open up or just weaken this A site. It's down to an A plant for them to win this offense now.
Yeah, I'm looking to sneak through. Blue, surprise, surprise, he's able to find one. That's exactly what you needed, an isolated gunfight. And it looks like he's going to start doing some of the early prep work here at B, clearing out the space, see if they can maybe play for a plant.
Has a good read on the timing. Neom's getting so much information. He is so far behind this play that they've just disappeared. So plant towards B, 2 versus 2. Neom gets the chance, the kill. Traded out in the 1 versus 1. Neom almost does the most dirty play, but to see him, he is fast on this rotation with the bomb down.
Yeah, and also on a 5 spree here, so able to, actually doesn't even need it. He's already on the streaks with the help of the plant. And he might have just played this perfect. Cruz clearing out the backside. You see him going to go for the check, and he finds it. Stallions, they'll take another despite losing the early life lead.
Neem's crazy. That's all I can say. That double chow over towards Zip, the fact that he's able to still get the 1 kill to finish it alone sets up a seam in that round, but the goal to make a play like that, the rotation over towards B just working perfectly. And it all kind of starts off with the eco shell into Armory with an aims into a Jackal. So Neom hard carrying right now for the Stallions, 11-5, making so many plays, teeing up a seam for an easy round win. Now map point for the Stallions. It's a hit towards A.
4 rounds in a row, looking to seal the deal with 5. RCXD used for information. They now know Royal Spartans are, of course, down low. They haven't dropped the bomb just yet, but Glowfrosty able to find a pick. Wiz is down. Dak is down. Looking to try to see if he can get something back, but no, he's got nowhere to go. It is all the Stallions here in map number 2 as they will take 5 straight.
The Stallions are on a heater right now, and everything that they've been adjusting going in towards champs is making them look like a powerhouse in this A group, and that's why we set up Group A to be one of the hardest groups that we do have in champs. And for this Royal Spartans team, nothing was ever guaranteed for them at all looking at it. I mean, you have Notorious, who are already land champions on the year. You have FC Stallions, who just have so much a history between Glowfrosty and Asim, but just power and what Traix has brought from the LATAM region into North America this time. And when you have Neom playing like how he has been towards the end of the game, he is hitting so many strides at the right time right now for FC Stallions. And it seemed like the entirety of that protocol search and destroy, Royal Spartans were playing a player down. It just was constant first bloods coming out from the Stallions. and the Spartans just couldn't keep up for the most part. And really, when you also kind of add in the fact that they got Mike, Major Maniac, at the helm for this team, coaching them through the way. I mean, talk about a more clutch player to have in the S&Ds.
Absolutely. Well, you see a lot of smiles, of course, right now on all of the Stallions' faces as they are feeling great. We'll take a look at some of the replays. And, again, it started pretty well for the Royal Spartans, right? They had that early advantage. They were able to go up by a couple of rounds, and those adjustments that started coming in. More importantly, I thought the retakes were just completely on point. And when you can just retake and not even lose a man, like, you know, you were just absolutely cooking. You're breaking down setups. The comms are just flowing, and you are in a really, really, really good mindset. So you got to feel great here for the Stallions to bounce back.
And even for that last round, just in general, when we get to it in the highlights, it's another sight that you give up A in the 4v4, you're playing your life. You get the smallest angle onto Wiz, open up that first blood. They wasted no time on some of these retakes, and I like those quick changes from the Stallions. They show patience on the retakes, especially that first flawless one that they had over towards B, but the second time they retake, it is just quick rotations, initiative, and just trying to look for those advantages. And as soon as they forced a little bit of blood from the Spartans, they just bled them right out. They didn't wait at all to put some of those rounds away. So I'm loving the Stallions, the pacing that they're setting here against the Royal Spartans, and there's just no mercy in our first round here in Group A.
And you take a look just at everything that took place throughout that map, and I mean, it really was just a flip of the switch halfway through the search, and everything started to go the other way, started to tip the way of the Stallions. Just diffuse after diffuse, first blood after first blood, the adjustments just completely locked in. And again, a situation now where the Royal Spartans, if they want to make it out of this group, beating this squad feels like it's going to be pretty necessary, because you talk about, you know, trying to get one over a Team Notorious. That could be a very, very difficult job to try to complete fully, and trying to now pull off a reverse sweep is going to be extremely crucial. But the Stallions, man, with the way that they're playing, doesn't feel like they're going to give you anything for free. That is for sure.
But it has to be a reverse sweep right now from the Royal Spartans. And this is a tough spot because we saw them last week playing the AMD Overclock, and they got reverse sweeped by Team War back in round one. This isn't a team that, you know, was able to really clutch up in those big moments in the setup, at least for this Champs tournament. And that has me a little bit worried for the Spartans. They got to dig deep here, show some new phase, show some teeth going into it, and some real grit, because this is kind of your moment for the entire group. You lose here, you have to beat Team Notorious then. And that alone just sounds like an impossible task with the way that Notorious are playing.
That's what I was saying, man. It's going to be difficult to try to do it. Need to find a way to try to bring this one back. Gunzy, again, played really well through that very first initial map, putting up some big numbers, big sprees, but outplayed by the team. Outplayed by the four members sitting across from them. So, heck of a lot to try and regain from. And, again, trying to do it quickly, I think, is also going to be another critical part.
Well, it's going to be a long day of action, I'd say, in general for the Challengers, Austin. And there are so many games going on. Even at this moment, we have more games going on, too, just across it to kind of talk about. And, you know, for this Group A heat, obviously, you're looking for Royal Spartans to make this potential reverse sweep against the Stallions. What a moment it would be to kick off Champs, by the way, if that does happen. But there's a lot of big stories going on.
Yes, a lot of big stories indeed. And we have a lot of other matches, of course, going on at the exact same time here, too. So, not sure if we have maybe a chance to look in any of those, but it looks like that is not going to be the case, unfortunately. But we are seeing at least there's a control going on between Orchid and Chaos, and that one is basically all tied up here 1-1. So, again, there is so many great games going on at the same time here, Colin, that we're trying to stay very dialed in on to see how some of these groups are going to shape up, with only 2 qualification spots, of course, for each one. Yeah,
if all you guys want to keep up with all the Challengers action, across the weekend, or especially across the day while we're in groups and so many are going on, big shout out to AMD, for making sure that all of the action is covered for the games that are being played right now. And you could go to the YouTube COD Challengers. You can see that there is an Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta stream playing all 4 matches at the same time. So if you want to follow along with us as well, don't forget to show some love to the other channels too. This year, Alpha is going to be the main matchup for each heat that we do have on the day. And it is calling for some major, say, temperature changes when it comes to the Royal Spartans to see if they can heat up.
Very least, it's cool in the venue, so be able to make sure you're not getting through without getting the temp too high. We were cooling down yesterday when we were in the CDL arena. It was a great time, but players.
That's great is that the AC works.
The AC works, baby. We do love that here in our Canadian summers. But we've been blessed so far this weekend, or I guess these last 2 days going into the weekend. But now I think players starting to get right back into the same mindset, dial in on what's important, which, of course, is going to be a closeout here for the Stallions. You do not want to give this squad any breathing room, but on the opposite end, you want to try to close this one out here, get it done in control.
Yeah, this Hacienda control, this is definitely something that you're still being favored in. If your Stallions, back in the North American LCQ, it wasn't even just Neum that played well on this map mode combo. Hamza dropped a 1.57 against Team Ligers. And it just looked like pure dominance coming out from the Stallions. So going into this Hacienda control, surely you're feeling good to put this one away in a 3-0 sweep. But, we can talk about for Royal Spartans, how do you bring this one back? And it has to be better performances coming out from Cruz and Dak.
Well, let's see who's going to be able to kick it off with a hot hand here. Wiz looking for a bounce back. And he's going to wait patiently, and he will be able to find himself a fairly easy pickup. But good response is going to come through for a second follow-up from Wiz as he makes his way to the point. Only going to get a touch for a second. Dak now trying to play forward.
So I like this call from Dak. See if you can bleed out a couple more of these respawns before dedicating your team to a hill. But everybody off the spawn for the Royal Spartans other than that, and you're still fighting for top halls control. Good break of kills is going to warrant a touch onto A, but you're going to have some pressure through you coming out from Trakes.
Certainly will. And now it's about trying to figure out how to clear out some of the members that have been able to set up around the A point here from the Royal Spartans. Gunzy going to get caught slipping. Trakes comes from behind, able to grab himself a couple of big kills. Could play forward, play for some spawners, but decides to throw the stun, just play his life, and wait for the regen.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Especially you have zero progress at A or B, and you have to win these fights going through top spirals. So at some point, you have to figure out where you're going to dedicate your bodies. A seems like the target, but they still don't have control for a couple of these. It's 3 players down, and the stack on A.
Does feel a little forced, like they just got to make something happen and stop the clock, but Glow Frosty lights up too. That is going to relieve the pressure on A and might force your hand to start looking towards B. Have to play for a touch now.